Hello everybody, welcome to a Respawn Syndicate video. Today we're doing a game review of The Man from the Window 2. This is the sequel to The Man from the Window. I played The Man from the Window, the original game, a couple weeks ago, and I played The Man from the Window 2 earlier this week. And so now it's time for the review. And another thing about this game is that it's an indie game developed by Zed the Technician. It's $1, very cheap. You don't need Steam or any other game player downloader. You quite literally just download it to your computer. It's a zip file, you extract the file, and you can play it. Don't need any crazy software, any hardware. It's as easy as it can be. You just gotta pay $1, and that's it. You can play the game. The link to buy the game will be in the description. If you want, you can pay more than $1, but all that is required is $1. It's up to you if you want to pay more. I always recommend donating to, indie developers, and you never know. You could make someone's week. So if you can, I would encourage paying more. If not, all you gotta pay is $1. And if you want to play this game, all you gotta pay is $1. It's really as simple as that. So with that being said, let's get into the review. Now, starting off with the positives of this game. For starters, the biggest positive is the continuation of the previous game. The lore, the little bit of lore that there is built up upon, which is nice. Another thing I really liked about it, they kept to the original character design. It just looks, the game looks pretty similar to the last, just all the characters are older, obviously. And obviously the granddaughter wasn't there before, but it is now. So, there's not really any improvements there, but like I said, all the character design is still the same. They didn't completely change everything. So yeah, I really like how they kept to the character design, and I like that they continued. They kept a nice continuation of the previous game. Another positive of this game is the quality. Very clearly the quality is not good, but it is definitely an upgrade when compared to the original game. The original game quality was absolutely horrendous. You couldn't, when it comes to the story, the words were not even fitting on the pages. It was just disgusting. This one, the quality still isn't great, but at least it's not terrible. It's, like I said, it's not amazing, but it's better, which, hey, I'll take an upgrade. And, yeah, honestly, that's all I have for the positives. I'm sorry, I really didn't like this game, if I'm being honest. If you watch my video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So, with everything I just mentioned, let's go ahead and get into the negatives of this game. Now, for starters, the very big negative of this game, the one that made me so angry, is that it just felt like a reskinned version of the first game. The puzzle doesn't really get any more complex. You have to find these pages, but it doesn't really change the puzzle. Like, you're still hiding based off the book. And the whole point is, like, in the original game, you hid in the last two places mentioned. In this game, you hide in the two places that aren't mentioned, and you gotta make sure you close the blinds. It took me one playthrough to figure it out. That's all it did. I figured it out in 10 minutes. And, I'm sorry, but just, you shouldn't be able to beat a game in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. It's just, it made me very angry. It was literally just if you've never played the first game before, it might take you an hour, maybe 2 to play this game. But if you played the first game before, which, let's be honest, it's not like this is a big budget game. You're not going to be bringing in a bunch of new people. So if you've played the first game, which most people who are playing this game have played the first game, you can figure out how to beat the game in 10 minutes. And it's just like, why even make a game at that point? Like, you didn't do anything. There's no... This game is just it's the same thing. He just released the same game twice. And it made me so incredibly angry. So, yeah, that's my biggest gripe with this game. Is that it just felt like a reskinned version of the exact same game. And to me, that's unacceptable. You didn't really improve the game whatsoever. So, yeah, I did not like that at all. And it made me extremely angry. Sorry for my rant there, but as you could tell, I was very upset. My next negative for the game is, again, there's no voice acting, which a game doesn't have to have voice acting, but it is... Now, remember, these reviews are personal. It makes me a little upset to have no voice acting, just because, especially when it comes to something where you have to read a lot, based off like a book or whatever, I don't want to have to read all that. It just gets tiring after a while, you know? And so, there wasn't any voice acting, which honestly, that's not a huge negative for me. It's really not. That's like a very minor thing for me, but I'm just bringing it up that there was no negative, so, yeah, there was no voice acting, so, yeah, I didn't like that. Another thing I want to harp on is that you couldn't really see the monster. Or at least I wasn't able to see it. Maybe there's a way you can see it. In the previous game, you could look through a peephole and see the monster. Or the man in the window. But in this game, you can't. And that's kind of the whole point of the game. Is that you're supposed to be freaked out from this monster. But you couldn't see it. So you can kind of see its knees in a mirror. But that's about it. So I don't know, maybe I missed something. But... you just couldn't really see it. You didn't know what you were afraid of. And so I was a little upset about that, because in the previous game you could see the monster, and I assume that they have this 3D model for it, so why not show it off? I mean, what are we doing here? But to be honest, that's not a big deal for me. It was just a little upsetting. I wanted to be able to see it. I wanted to see if they made any changes to it, and the only change that made is that you couldn't really see it, so... hey, it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, this game, I don't think anybody was expecting this game to compete with any AAA games. It's a fun game if you're into puzzles and stuff. If you never played the first game, you can play this game. I would recommend just playing the first game because it's free. You're not going to be wasting $1, but at the end of the day, it's $1, so might as well pay the $1, support the creator. But like I said, this game isn't going to be competing with Call of Duty. It's not going to be competing with... I don't know. It's not going to be competing with any big budget horror games. But still, there's a level of development that needs to go in for you to even release a game, because your name is attached to this, your reputation is attached to this, and it was kind of upsetting to me at how little changed from the first game. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want the game to be completely different. When I'm saying change, I mean that it felt like I was playing the first game over and over again. I beat the game in 10 minutes because the puzzle was the exact same. When it comes to a puzzle game, you can't have the puzzle be the same thing over and over again. That's like the #1 rule. If the puzzle is the same thing, you can figure it out extremely fast. And the whole puzzle was the exact same. Which, what are we doing here? Like I said, I don't want the game to be completely different. I don't want it to feel like it doesn't even fit in with the series, but I also don't want it to feel like a reskin version of the same game. So that's what I'm most upset about. And with everything that I've mentioned, I'm gonna have to give this game another 2 out of 10. it didn't improve from the last game. It got a little bit better in quality, but so did the price. The price increased, and so I feel like that takes it back. So like, if it was free, I might have given this game a 3 out of 10. But it actually costs you money, so that's a negative to you, and you know that's gonna bring it down because this game's not a good quality. You know, it's really not. And when it's not good quality, it's not going to get a good score. So this game scores the exact same as the first game, 2 out of 10. Nothing changed. It's the exact same game, just slightly better quality with a $1 price tag. If you want to play the game, if you disagree with me, the link will be in the description. With that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing my review. Thank you for hearing my thoughts. Thank you for letting me rant. And please subscribe, comment in the comments what you want to see next. I can play pretty much any game out there. I'm pretty decent at playing games, I think. And so yeah, that being said, guys, that's it for the video. Have a good one.